The beautiful Boise State Esports Arena, where tonight we are starting off with week 3 of NACE Rocket League, where Boise State is facing off against Bushnell University, and we got an exciting week of Rocket League here tonight. The stakes not as high, but nevertheless, the Broncos want to come out victorious here tonight. I am your host, Colin McDrunken, and once again joining me to call all the action, not on desk, however, but nevertheless a friend over the internet, I have Rich. Rad, the one and only. How are we doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic, my friend. It is extremely awesome to be here, to be able to widen our gaze of a lot of esports. We've done, you and I, a lot of other titles, but now we get to see some Rocket League again. You said the stakes may not be too high, but I think it's a day of, you know, we could say February 14th, love and enjoyment and just excitement, and I think that's what we might get the love of the game here today. Oh,
yeah, definitely. And I do have to sort of ask that going into week 3, I sort of covered the topic already with going into not the stakes very high. Boise State had a bye in week 1, and then we played Stone Child, and that was a 3-0. And going into best of 5, I believe also there's not the standard lineup as well. I believe Hoosh going into this. Do you have any kind of frontline predictions going into this? Is this going to be an issue for Boise State to sort of handle out here with the new addition to the roster?
With a new addition to the roster, it really could go either way. It's the synergy with a new individual that they're bringing into those that are a little bit more well-structured. They could be allowing themselves to find some, let's say, revitalization with the way that they're playing due to a new individual. But since they did have the bye and had an unfortunate turn of events previously, now going into this week, they look to try and adapt themselves, evolve, grow with this individual, and allow themselves to be much more of a formidable team. And I didn't get to see that previous match that you had mentioned last time, but I'm looking forward to seeing how this initial few rounds and few maps that we do get to see, or games that we actually get to see, are able to start laying an understanding of what we have to expect from Boise State.
All right, definitely, and to always help them hopefully achieve this 3-0 victory in this best of 5, we have Doc's keys to the game, which in Rocket League are to set the play style, understand the rotations, play to follow up, and always, always, always have those sweaty comms. Doc's keys to the game are brought to us by Drop-In Gaming. Drop-In Gaming is the premier online platform for gamers to seek competition, play your favorite games to win cash and prizes through free and paid entry matches and tournaments. Whether you're new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop-In Gaming has the right games for you and the right competition. To begin your competitive journey, sign up at dropingaming.com. Looking to set.
And I mean, you yourself, I was going to jump in just because I know you actually get to coach the club team, which we're going to get to see a little bit after this one. But before we even get into that kind of topic, what are your expectations? I want to know, from being an individual who has that leadership type of role to now look at it to this varsity team and what they can bring against their opponent coming up today.
I know the varsity team is an extremely deadly squad, especially when you have the dig squad of Durtho, Instinct, Gill. I know exactly what they can do, and especially from a competitive standpoint of something like NACE or ECAC to what can be expected as the golden standard of what is the highest held Rocket League competitive tournament of CRL. I know exactly what they can do, and I know it full well. They're capable of. And going from a coach standpoint, I think it's sort of just like, I know they played a couple matches with Hoosh. I'm sort of expecting just this start out of a burst momentum type thing, because that's exactly what this team does really well. And as I'm saying that, Bushnell is the first to get a goal within the first 7 seconds of the game, but right off the bat, Durtho having that control in the air, gets an air dribble from the midfield all the way to the back of the net.
Yeah, it's just lightning fast between these two. As you can see, great air dribble. Again, that verticality and understanding how to coordinate themselves to get that goal into the net, as now we do look to take a look at this of Boise State taking a quick advantage of Bushnell. And you mentioned how they struggled previously. Right now, out the gate, going into this matchup, they are very dominant.
Oh yeah, starting off strong, this team always takes it. And yeah, this corner touch is just great. Getting around one, and Durtho is just the fastest to pick up. And it's the way they set their pace. You know, if you started off strong from the bat, you give yourself this cushion that is sort of unprecedented. Oh, I was wrong. Bushnell did not get a goal. It was Boise State that started off 7 seconds goal.
I mean, one of the biggest things right now, though, is what we can evaluate from such a swift 3 goals from Boise State is this defensive nature that's lacking a little bit from Bushnell. I like that they did have this 2 coverage here, denying that consistent goal again for Boise State to continue putting insult to injury, keeping it into that midfield and looking how it can be transitioned back over to the opposing side. But Boise State has not really allowed itself to get into any position to have to play defensively until finally you have Bushnell playing offense.
Phosphine looking at a touch. There was Hoos on the sidewall defense. Nobody real challenge up there. The Gill with the pass down to Dirt, though. And the ceiling shot. Wow, and this is something I'm going to expect the entirety of the series is the passing plays to be some of the most extraordinary ones we'll be able to see, because once again, like I said, this team is really fast. I'm going to mention again, this team's really good at making these, you know, really mechanical goals look so beautiful and just so right.
And it's really interesting to see how Bushnell's going to be able to combat against it. Gill already looking to get that dribble across and does get close to goal off the crossbar, denies it, but a recovery here. Beautifully done by Hoosh to make sure that there is a follow-up onto it. Again, this is that great defense we're talking about, though, but even with all 3 sticking towards that net, they're not monitoring that recovery and that follow-up that can happen for another goal.
I know Gill's a little salty not being able to finish off the air dribble. Was hoping that Doomsday Dish would have came in clutch. It did not. Dirtho playing a little bit of fake. Now it's Control looking to get over 1. Does indeed get over 1. 2 in the net here. Hoosh kind of sitting in the back for pass. Dirtho get over 1. Hits the crossbar as their follow-up. Hoosh at the 50. Still has enough boot to stick with it. Doesn't have enough boost to finish it off, though. Gill kind of fakes the commit. Does get 100 boosts on the other side. Passes it back around. Crow has to play defense. Does get around 1 Boise State defender in the 50. This could be dangerous for Bushnell. Hoosh down for the pass. Doesn't quite get it, though.
Nope, kicks it out towards midfield. You have Lucas getting some assistance from the rest of the squad, but unfortunately not really having too much boost. Goes in for the shot, and Boosh manages to get that onto that counter goal. And that is a first that we get to see here against Boise State. And it's still a long and a tall mountain to climb here.
Oh, yeah, 2-goal deficit is, or actually, no, more than a 2-goal deficit. Yeah, 4-goal deficit is not only just sort of morally, but also just gameplay-wise demoralizing, especially when you give the ball to Dartho off the ceiling. Gets 1 flipper set. Is there a second? The 50 was attempted. Didn't quite get there. Ball's kind of laying at midfield. Lucas with the shot off the corner here. Gill gets 1 touch. Now to get a clear. Has to follow up. Dartho there to take over at the 50 off the Crow. There could be danger. Somebody from the midfield. Lucas is going to get the redirect off to the sidewall here. Dartho still with Control, looking for 50. The back pass, actually the fake by Hoosh. Gill's up. It is defended by Crow, Evan.
Yeah, Gill was looking to try and get it to ricochet off that back wall for a reset, but unable to do so since the defensive position was quite dominant from Bushnell. There's still a lot of aerial play. Once again, continuing to outmaneuver the opponent. Crow looking for an opportunity to get it back in. Lucas holds it in the corner on the sidebar, denies that goal from just swiftly moving in through the smaller crevice, but a nice angle from up top, and it denied once again. An attempt. These shots continue to come out from Boise State on the net.
I just want to point out the amount of boosts that Bushnell has. 2 of the players are currently sitting at 0 right now. Just as I say that Phosphane gets 100, but Crow still sitting at the 0. While you look at the orange boost meters, and they're relatively full. So the kind of this lets me know the hope level that Bushnell has to get a goal here with just not having a whole lot of boost, and they got sort of a lucky break not being able to be converted on. But now Hoosh with possession gets 1 touch. Phosphane quick, a little bit of a pre-jump there. Now Gill to flick it over 1, still remaining possession. Nobody challenging. Gill might be looking for the bump. Does get the bump on Crow, but there is no follow-up from a BSU attacker.
A little bit more patience right now to recover onto this, acknowledging how they want to get back into the engagement. As you do see, Phosphine will be able to keep it into the side for the moment as Lucas goes back for recovery defensively. Again, consistently trying to deny Boise State from getting these more dominant positions and opportunities for a shot on the goal, and once again keeping it elevated for a follow-through. Tries to dribble it forward, but doesn't quite have control.
Bushnell really stepping up a lot more backboard defense that we did not see in the beginning there. 3 of those goals were basically air dribbles that Boise State was able to get. And ever since the 3-minute mark, it's sort of been a stalemate in terms of Boise State not being able to convert anything. Dartho getting a fake, getting a pass 1. Has a little bit of boost to do the 66. Looking for the flip reset. Does get it the pass. Hoosh is up and elevated. Will it connect? Oh, not.
It was a worthy attempt on the double flip reset. Now that they look to try and fall back onto this, there is reduced time to work with, as there is only 35 seconds, attempting another shot onto it, but Lucas gets a nice defensive hold, denying that as the 30-second remains.
Boston trying to play it out to the corner now. Durthrow looking for a little bit of Doomsy Ditch. Does get the touch. It's just a little bit off. Not quite able to get the goal line there. Would have been sick if it happened here, but as these last 15 seconds wind down, Bushnell's looking to just get one more, even if it's just for morale. That's all they really need, but Durthrow's going to get it clear to hope to connect a whoosh off the backboard.
Not enough boost to maintain it as they attempt once again. That will be a completion of this first game as it hits the ground, and that's going to be Boise taking it in this best of 5. And we do have to acknowledge, though, Boise State did come out blazing. Absolutely blazing. And then there was this moment of recovery and understanding, and I think that's something that we have to be aware of, is that Boise State now taking this significant lead. Can they look to do the same thing in this next game? Because realistically, there was at least a goal placed onto them. They were denied a lot of the incoming shots. The defensive play was starting to become a lot more aware of how Boise was playing. But at the moment, Boise really, really does look fantastic.
Yeah, those first 2 minutes, putting 5 points on the board is something else entirely to do. But I noticed Bushnell gets this goal here, and it really sets them apart in terms of that ability. Like, since that 3-minute mark in that goal, there were several times they were able to play backboard defense. They had that somehow miracle of a defensive play where all 3 of them were at least below 20 boosts and somehow managed to clear the ball. How that doesn't end up being a goal still eludes me, but in all honesty, Bushnell's got to be looking for something different, because they can't keep relying on that defensive ability. They've got to turn this. Their defense has to have the ability to convert those goals. They have to have the ability to put shots on net and eventually put them in the back of the net and score a goal.
Yeah, they got to flip the switch. And we'll see if this second game allows them to do that now that they've been able to gain the pulse of how Boise State plays. Gill, once again, taking this aerial position, looking to get it into the corner. Nice denial. No open shot onto the goal, since there has been a massive increase specifically by Lucas, really hugging close to that.
A little bit of bump on Lucas, almost gives Gill the clear away, but Crow looking for the double touch, doesn't quite get it. Now it's Phosphang. Lucas with enough boost. There's Durtha looking for the redirect, doesn't get it. Gill with the pass out to Hoosh. Hoosh just barely off the backboard here, and Lucas might have the opening off the sidewall. Crow doesn't get the follow-up as well, and that may be all for naught. Bushnell's quick attempt to score a goal.
Durtho looking to cycle back, giving assistance off the wall, trying to pair up, gets denied once again. Same thing coming out again here from Crow this time around, dribbling it back over. Little bit of a cluster towards this corner, hoping to get it out into the midfield to try and counteract to it, as you do have an elevated play by Durtho, denied once again.
It's Push not able to make quality touches. Able to get a pinch with Durtho, but Crow is quick to follow up here. Durtho looking for something interesting. Gill is able to collide with the side of the wall. Gonna go ahead and save it. Hoosh looking for the pass on the sidewall. Not enough velocity on it to get it quite out in the midfield. Hoosh looking for the bump. Doesn't get it as Gill goes soaring past it. Now here's Durtho. Didn't shadow there. Just goes to the straight up commit and is going to control the ball off the sidewall here.
This is a vast difference in play coming out from Bushnell this second game as they attempt to play offensive. Gets denied once again. Shot looking to line up cleanly. Crow towards that side angle, looking to try and get it into a cross, but there's nobody there to get it, and that's going to be Gill even further looking to defend and push this back over.
Foster with a really good interception there in the sort of back end of their own side. Crow looking for to get 50. Does get the 50. Hoosh now trying to get the bump. Also doesn't get the bump. And there's Crow getting 100. And another really good 50 with Gill. Looking for the pass out mid, but does get demoed. And nobody's there to receive that ball. But here's Crow with the defense again. Lucas with the one touch out. And there is no way any blue attacker is going to be able to get to that ball in time. As now Gill has control of the ball. Does get one flick. Oh, and it's demoed out.
Oh, demoed midair. Gill still attacking forward, denying Crow a position. Durtho looking to dribble it, but gets denied once again. Comes back in over top despite the redirect, and that's going to be a goal here that is well-deserved after how significant we've seen this changeup coming out from Bushnell.
So I do have to ask the question for you. What do you think is more significant, bump car or ball?
Always ball.
Always ball? Okay.
Always ball. That's just
always
because
ball.
I used to play soccer and I was a goalkeeper and always just wanted to go after the ball. So that's a different type of mentality here. Granted, these are cars and it's a larger ball, but you know, hey.
And these ones can go supersonic. Oh, look for the
Great
Doomsday
style.
dish. Almost leaves their defense completely exposed. There's a bump.
Oh, no.
I believe that was Lucas that got the bump on the Hoosh that allowed this to just be an open net. Yeah.
Oh, yep. Just manages to touch Crow there just in case anyways. I mean, again, the setup was still there despite it going in. Even if it were to go a little bit astray, they had full understanding of how they wanted to play this. And Boise stayed a little bit caught off guard. Now as they go back into this, you do see presence already towards that Bushnell side. Aggression, once again, swiftly by Boise State. Looking to try and line something up. Gil goes for it, but Lucas defends.
Gale's going to get the demo on Crow, leaving Dirtho a lot of real estate to work with. Dirtho getting it over one.
Oh.
Wow. Has the air mechanical ability and shows off a little bit of the ground one as well. Gets the fake over Frostbane, and yeah, there's that pre-flip that's just so beautiful.
There's no way to recover from it, too, since there's so many defenders further forward towards that midfield, as it's a one-score lead for the moment with 1 minute and 40 seconds to go. So things start to elevate in pressure on Bushnell to try and come back and make this an even 2-for-2. They're not letting it get nearly away from them as we did see in the previous game, though.
Oh, yeah, and it took so much longer to goal as well. They I forget what that mechanic's called, but pulls it off. Crow looking for the sidewall pass. Oh, there's Dirtho. Might have the read here. Oh, gets blocked out by Lucas here, and Gil's not trying to get the recover of Phosphane. A small touch out to midfield here is recovered by Crow. Right back down to Hoosh. Hoosh keeping possession, cuts into midfield, gets it over one. Looking for a second touch. No, going for the boost instead. Perhaps a demo as well. Now Gil looking for a second touch, gets the flip reset, fakes the flip reset. Doesn't quite get the quality touch looking for. Now it's Dirtho's turn. Gets blocked out by Lucas.
Yeah, the dribble not really working out in their favor with Lucas still continuing to play. Looks for the flip reset, can't quite get it. Too distant from the ball and not having enough boost. As Boise State goes in for the attack, all three forward denied once again. You've got Fusfine looking to get back on this offense to cross over with Crow, looking for the bank. Can't quite get it lined up, though.
Hoosh, once again, looking for control, gets a weird bounce there. Emergency flicks over one. There's Dirtho, keeping it just a little bit out of the danger zone. Oh, and there's Crow with the big bump on Gil, and Lucas is there for the shot, but Dirtho saves it, and Hoosh is there to back it up to the pass to Gil. And now Gil to Dirtho, but the angle is just too tight. Ooh!
Knocked it back into the middle. Gil almost manages to get it, but this is going to look really challenging for the last 10 seconds.
It's only 1 goal lead. If Bushnell is able to rally here and do something, Lucas trying to get it over Dirtho, but Dirtho playing just the above defense, not allowing anything to get past them. Oh, and there's Gil with the pass in his last second. Unless this ball manages to stay in the air, this could be game, but it's only 1 goal here. But Dirtho now the flip reset off the ceiling. And there's Hoosh to assist it all.
So, okay, you have to say that that's a little bit of salt in the wound.
Oh, yeah.
You just have to have the ball hit the floor. Like, you just got to let it hit the field. And at this point, says, nah, I got a position. I got an angle. Boise State goes for another one, and they're going to be able to take a 2-point score lead in that game and now put themselves on a match point of this best of 5.
Yeah, that ceiling shot's just a regular for Dirtho there. But a lot closer game. We actually didn't see this heat match last turn, but I imagine if we did see it, it would have been a completely different story. I mean, I know it can be a little inaccurate sometimes, the UI, able to dictate the percentages. But nevertheless, what that kind of tells me is it was fairly even. And, you know, the numbers in my eyes are sort of telling me the same thing, that it felt even for like 3.5 minutes there.
And the other aspect of it is, too, and we do take a look at the data that we have in front of us, is the number of shots that were coming out by Boise State were still much more significant when you take a look at their counterpart. Bushnell, when they did have their shots, they were executed more effectively, and they also, I believe, in both occasions when we did see that value come, were catching them off guard. It was a little bit discombobulated from Boise State because of that type of overzealous play that they look to bring to just their overall structure between the three of them. And it's moments like those that if you see Bushnell continue to tighten this up and that they've managed to reduce that gap of play, they can actually really look to try and take a game away here from Boise State.
Oh, yeah, they can definitely do it. But as they're kind of winding down, this is a best of 5. And now that's 2 games to the side of Boise State. So they put Bushnell in sort of this, they have this fire underneath them. They have to, you know, it's do or do not here, as I say a lot, but they really got to find that spirit in them to rally back and get forward again. They kept that game relatively close. It wasn't until that last second goal that you could sort of tell they gave up, you know, once that double commit happened, they're kind of like, it's whatever, and they just had one in the net. But keeping it to a 1-goal game isn't anything to scoff at. And like you said, if they managed to to combine something and keep this sort of bump gameplay that they have going on that's keeping Boise State on their toes, they might be able to convert this game and keep themselves alive for one more matchup in this best of 5.
And the interesting part, too, is you saw Boise State towards that later 45 seconds of the game be a lot more reactive than I would say proactive. Not to say that that's a discredit to them, but they were looking to just try and hold out. They knew that they needed to keep their advantage. They didn't want to allow themselves to become overzealous to be taken advantage of, as that previous goal entailed. But as we enter into this, there's already an early goal, again, out the gate in under 35 seconds. Boise State has that 1-point advantage as now we attempt to see if there's a retaliation, but Gil plays defensively to get that ball out of their side.
Luke's making a bit of a cut from the left side of the field, getting a pass out there. I don't know who quite flew past the screen, but it definitely was a blue attacker looking to get the cross shot. Here's Durtho still on the wall. Be a little bit of danger here, but with no boost. Gil does get the bump, trying to attempt to get a one flick over one. The Phosphane is there to play a little bit of defense, and a pinch with the sidewall there is going to give Crow a little bit of possession. The pass out of Phosphane isn't quite there. They had the open net.
Timing just milliseconds off, not able to get in line for that shot, so it is an opportunity now for Boise State to push it back onto Bushnell, who defensively has 3 close by. You have Gil even recognizing that they need to play back ever so slightly until they can look for a re-engagement, but Durtho plays forward, looks for an opportunity to get this back in with the assistance of Gil, going over the cross, but no shot is available. Actually does get the bump, but defensively is held once again by Crow.
There's a pass in midfield. Now Durtho looking for the shot, looking for the top left bins. Doesn't get it. Now Hoosh looking for the ceiling play. Gets counted out by Phosphane. Phosphane still sticking with it. Gets a really good catch off this. Wow.
Yeah, Phosphane took full advantage of that. Gil, again, very aggressive. Goes for the denial. At this point, you can even see this slow motion moment just gives you the same type of feeling that I guarantee you Gil had, like, oh, yo, I missed that, fam.
Yeah,
there's nothing I can do about it.
You think you get that read, but then you don't expect them to get that touch right underneath them, and all of a sudden it turns into a way different ball game. Gil getting bumped now. Hoosh with the pass out of the midfield a little bit. Hoosh trying to re-attempt for the contest. So does Durtho, but Gil's going to be able to clear it out.
Yep.
Oh my God,
Gil
there's Durtho
sticking close. Yeah, Durtho comes out of nowhere from on high. Lucas, though, getting an opportunity for a free goal, but Gil is going to get defensively there to have some assistance. Crow is denied. This time, Gil will not let it get away from them as Durtho comes in, gets it off the crossbar, but no follow-up. The double tap isn't there, and Gil attempts to recover on the side with the assistance of Hoosh, and there is so much aggression from Boise State here.
Still winding down at this 2-minute 35-second. Not an open net. Gil get the defense. That is going to be one touch off the backboard here. Still a little bit in danger zone. Crow to get one pass off the sidewall here, but there's Hoosh looking for the pass out of Durtho from the blue corner. Durtho not able to get anything, but Hoosh is the pass. Phosphane's there to play defense. Lucas might try to elevate to get something, doesn't get anything. Durtho, the second touch, might be looking for a third. Out of it, just a bit off. Hoosh just playing a little bit of keep away here, buying a little bit of time for Gil on the defensive third to get ready, and there's a shot, but it's just off the side of the crossbar. Oh.
And Gil has been, with a couple of occasions we've seen on them, very responsive to knowing when they have to go in reverse. They need to play defensively. They can't allow themselves to let this get away from them. Crow now up top, looking to try and play elevation with the reset. Can't quite do it. Hoosh from the side attempts to set it up for Gil. Gets banked for one. Can they get the follow-up? No, again defensively by Phosphane.
Soft touch by Lucas. Leaves it out in the corner there. Gil getting around one. Lucas trying to get a cut there. And a bump on Gil. Hoosh having a little bit of control. The pass out of Durtho. Durtho to get one and done and leave it. Phosphane now playing down. Here's Crow with the bang out to the sidewall. Trying to get a read here. Almost gets it, but doesn't quite get it. Now Phosphane's turn. The pass out of Durtho. Durtho having control here. Looking to play down. Is there the boost to do anything with it? Off the backboard, but Lucas is going to clear out to the corner, which ideally is the safest place for the defenders to want it. And just like that, Bushnell's going to be able to clear it.
And Crow attempting so much here, really just pushing the line for what they can get out of this. But unfortunately, there is so much denial. Gil comes in with a cross, able to just knock it in towards the end of it. We'll get another look at it here over top. Crow can't do anything to deny it. A subtle tap right into the center of that keep. And that will be Boise State taking the advantage with a 2-1 score and 55 seconds to go.
Yeah, that blue defender gets really caught off guard there. having their ball on, having their camera on ball cam there can be really deficit to you because you have no idea Gil's going to be there. And you have to play that ball really fast. And as these last 40 seconds wind down, the net's left a little too open. And there's Hoosh to take full advantage of it.
And again, this is now where Boise State catches their opponent off guard, and the second that they do, it's just this snowball effect. Yeah. All three on this defensive side unable to gather close enough to deny Hoosh this shot. And now you look to try and get 2 goals in 40 seconds. That is a absolutely tall task. Lucas, though, almost manages to shut my mouth, and Gil plays beautifully on the defense to deny both shots here, despite the offense from Bushnell.
Gotta give Gil the defensive award of the year with that save right there. That was out of nowhere. I 100% thought that was going in the back of the net. And there's Durtha trying to make a read off the sidewall here. His last 10 seconds wind down. Crow trying to make a play happen here. Isn't quite do anything. Hoosh now at the flipper set, looking to get a backwards touch. Gil to send off the backboard, looking for a doomsday dish. Is it gonna happen? And there's Boise taking the 3-0 W over Bushnell.
Yeah, worthy attempt, though. I will have to say Bushnell was able to start, rallying together to play competitively, but we still have to, especially when we take a look at those last few seconds, Gil on their defensive plays was really leveling up. Once they acknowledged that there was some offensive pressure coming out from Bushnell, Gil says, all right, I have to pick up this role. I need to make sure that we deny any sort of opportunity for recovery, and does so beautifully.
Yeah, especially that last save as well. And then, even those micro plays of being always this sort of the third man that was in the backfield, right? Because you always sort of looked at there, and Gil sort of, I feel like as a player, has this really strong sense of knowing when to be this, this push and pull type player of I'm going to push up, but I'm also going to pull back when needed. And, that's sort of a feel I think every Rocket League player needs to establish to have a really good team coordination, especially in a 3 sense. And yeah, if there was a defensive player of the game, it would almost always, in my opinion, go to Gil, because some of the saves this guy pulls out is insane.
And we'll get to take a look at the lovely MVP, and we'll say it's Gil. There we go. Player of the game.
That is player of the game. Definitely Gil absolutely deserves it this series here. The ICU player of the game is brought to you by Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes a great player makes a team more successful, just like Idaho Central's helping members achieve financial success. Gil is the Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game.
I always love seeing what their major is. It's computer science.
Yeah.
And when you're playing a game like this, just velocity, angles, all those types of, calculated plays, it just fits right in line with the education, and I don't care what anybody thinks.
It definitely fits, but it's crazy because I've definitely had that question for a lot of these Rocket League players, and I've had that question asked to me as well, of sort of, do you account for speed and everything like that? And you don't realize that you're doing all that in real time in your head, because as much as I'd love to brag, I'm some Albert Einstein character, or I'm able to push pause on reality and do all this math calculations in my head. That's not the fact of it. It just sort of happens. But ending out the series, do we have anything to close out to this game before we head out top 5?
I mean, realistically, when it does come to how Boise State played, continue to maintain this type of prowess and dominance. And at this point, the only thing I would say is once their opponent starts to gain, recognition of how they're playing, don't allow yourself to become a little bit too overexposed, as we saw those couple of goals come through, but major props to how they recover from it. So everything that they're doing is going into the right direction. And for their counterpart, again, they started to understand the trend of their opponents, and that's all they can really look to do themselves moving forward. So ultimately, all in all, just continue to work on those basic skills and even those keys to the game that Doc continues to talk about.
100%. Before we leave you out the top 5, make sure after this break to come back, because we still have some Overwatch tonight and another matchup for Rocket League as well. And as we prepare to kind of take a step out of this game, we have our top 5 plays of the game, which is presented by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time with more than 10 jobs offering a 20K bonus and the degree of your choice paid for by the Idaho Army National Guard. The Idaho National Guard is the best team. Go and reach out to them at iGuardTwitch.gaming. See you guys later. Make sure to turn back in a little bit. Like I said, this team is really fast. I'm going to mention again, this team's really good at making these, really mechanical goals look so beautiful and just so right.
And it's really interesting to see how Bushnell's going to be able to combat against, and Gil already looking to get that dribble across, and does get close to goal off the cross. Nope, kicks it out towards midfield. You have Lucas getting some assistance from the rest of the squad, but unfortunately not really having too much boost. Goes in for the shot, and Bush manages to get that onto that countered goal. And that is a first that we get to see here against Boise State. And it's still a long and a tall mountain to climb here.
Oh yeah, 2 goals.
Attempting so much here, really just pushing the line for what they can get out of this. But unfortunately, there is so much denial. Gil comes in with a cross, able to just knock it in towards the end of it. We'll get another look at it here over top. Crow can't do anything to deny it. A subtle tap right into the center.
Looking at a touch, there was Hoos on the sidewall defense. Nobody real challenge up there. The Gil with the pass down to Dirt though, and the ceiling shot. Wow, and this is something I'm going to expect the entirety of the series, is the passing plays to be some of the most extraordinary ones we'll be able to see, because once again, like I said, this team is really fast.
All three on this defensive side unable to gather close enough to deny Hoosh this shot. And now you look to try and get 2 goals in 40 seconds. That is a absolutely tall task. Lucas, though, almost manages to shut my mouth, and Gil plays beautifully on the defense to deny both